Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching Sonic Prime, the newest Sonic cartoon on Netflix. Nowadays it feels like it's a better time than ever to be a Sonic fan, with two great Sonic movies released by Paramount Pictures and a third one in development. Sonic Frontiers selling tons of copies and generally being seen as one of the best Sonic games in recent memory. And now this cartoon that happens to basically take my favorite elements from multiverse stories and Sonic Sat AM and put them into one action-packed series that happens to make me really wonder what's going to happen for the next two seasons. Let's get to the story, shall we? The story takes place after Sonic ends up touching this shard of a crystal. This shard is something that is apparently a crystal that Eggman has been searching for a very long time. And when Sonic ends up touching it, he ends up going into several different universes that show different states of his friends being in different environments. One is this robotic dystopia where Amy Rose happens to be a robot in the service of a council of 5 different Eggmans. One who's a baby, one who's an adult, one who's an old grandpa, one who's the Eggman he already knows, and one who's like a teenager who's always on his phone. Another world is like this big jungle world where everyone's scraping to survive off of tree bark. And another is like a pirate world where Knuckles is a pirate captain. So yeah, basically it's a multiverse story used for both comedic and dramatic purposes. And I really do like this story, especially considering that it feels like a story that would fit right in with the Sonic universe. The robotic dystopia does have some similarities to Sonic Sat AM, but instead of having the Sonic Sat AM cast, it's Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Rouge, Big, and, the characters like that. And thankfully, Big the Cat is not annoying in the slightest, and both Rouge and Amy are surprisingly really likable in their various roles, which is especially surprising considering you get to see them in multiple roles. You get to see Rouge as a pirate. You get to see Rouge as a resistance leader. You get to see her as normal Rouge. Same thing with Amy. You get to see her as a robot. You get to see her as a pirate. You get to see her as a jungle warrior. Seeing all these characters in different roles and in different situations that's different from the norm actually got me to care more about these characters than I do in their usual incarnations. And heck, even Eggman stands out a bit more considering we get to see all the different versions of him. Who would have thought Eggman as a baby would actually be a legitimate threat when the baby can also control its own mecha suit? On top of that, Man of Action Entertainment does the animation here, and they are also the ones who are behind Ben 10 and Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. While the CG animation doesn't look especially impressive at the start, the action scenes really let you know that the guys know what they're doing when it comes to both comedy and action-packed scenes, making for some moments that look like they're right out of the Sonic games or could be a Sonic game of their very own. As long as a game based on the show doesn't end up like Sonic Boom, I'll be all for it. On top of that, Shadow appears at several points in the series, and it seems that he's going to have a bigger role in Season 2. So while the individual worlds are fun, it does feel like there's a bit of a pacing issue when it comes to the final episode, and you could say a little bit with the first episode, since that one's also double length. But aside from that, Sonic Prime is a very fun, action-packed cartoon that's filled with great voice acting, great animation, great fights, and it just reminds me of why I love this character so much. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. See you next time.